All right, team. This is your homie Charles Becco from Brooklyn Traders, and today we are here to talk about everybody's favorite topic, the stock market. All right. No better way to get to it than to get to it. All right. So here we're looking at a chart of the SPY. Now I will warn you, okay, out of all the charts I've ever done, this is probably going to look the craziest. Okay. If you have sensitivity to lots of colors, do not look at this chart. It looks like a Smurf just like vomited all over the screen. I know, so many colors, so many lines. Please keep up with me. All right. So to me, I know this all looks kind of crazy, and it looks crazy to me too. But I understand what this is. To me, this is just like a phase 3 to a phase 4 market phase, right? So we have the sideways action here. A lot of sideways action, right? With a little bump here, phase 2, to phase 1, phase 2, and then this topping action is a phase 3, and this bottoming right here, it looks like a phase 4. I know it looks like, all hope is lost. We had about 2 weeks worth of price action here, finally get a breakdown, and it looks like we're just going to kind of go right back into the channel. So I'm anticipating that SPY will probably find its footing somewhere between 380 to 370. We'll probably just chop around for a little bit. Looks like the end of the world, but not quite, right? We're not all the way down here to 350. There's going to be lots of support here until we get there, 375, 370, 360, so it will be quite some time before we work our way down here, right? But, we're definitely going to take a little bit of a haircut. We looked at the charts last week and we said, hey, this does not look good, okay? And it doesn't look great, right? It's just very choppy, So I actually grabbed my favorite indicator set that kind of lets me know, what's kind of going on underlying structure of the market, right? And this yellow here, double yellow, just lets us know that this is going to be kind of a choppy kind of market activity, at least with the SPY, right? So that's SPY. Let's look at the Qs. If you look at Qs, right, it's red and then it's yellow too, right? So, and that's just what we've had, right? It's lots of chop. Let me just put on the NQs because this is even too much for me. All right, this just looks a little bit better, right? Yeah, we just have not gone anywhere, right? Geez, since October, we've just not gone anywhere, right? We do have kind of a basing out of the pattern, right? So it doesn't look like the market necessarily wants to like be totally bearish, right? Since the highs here that was kind of set, or the last previous high, right, was set. I should say that. You can say the last high, right, was set back here in January, right? But the most significant high, the last time that we at least came up here and tested the 200 was way back in August, right? So since then, we haven't even been able to touch the 200 there. And, it looks like we want to retest the lows here at 10,600 on the NQ here. But this is mostly just sideways action. You see the NQ just says that it's choppy. Right, if you look at the Qs, it says that it's choppy to bearish, right? So that's what we got. More sideways action. Okay. It looks like we could possibly, just kind of go and test the lows here. It does, right? Again, let me just kind of put on the Q futures because that chart is just a little bit cleaner. But yeah, okay. Again, sorry for all the colors, but when I look at it like this, it kind of helps me make more sense of the charts. Let's look at Tesla here. Tesla hitting a yearly low, even I believe a multi-year low, right? Oof, yeah. All right. Here's the thing, right? I actually believe though that even though we hit kind of a multi-year low here on Tesla, right, since way back since before 2020, I do believe Tesla is going to hold this 150, right? I do believe we should get some kind of a bounce. We've had a few opportunities to kind of bounce here in Tesla. And team, I am so sorry for all these colors. I know you guys are going crazy looking at this chart, but we've had a few buy setups in Tesla that has failed a couple of times, right? We're looking at this, the weekly chart. That's the daily. I know. Okay. Actually, you know what? We don't need this indicator. A very basic chart, right? All right, there you go. I know. I just I know your eyes were like killing you, right? So yeah, this just does not look good. Okay. But what I could tell you here is that on the weekly time frame, right? On the weekly time frame, there is support. Okay. I believe that we hit the weekly 200 and then the monthly 50, right? Now I gotta pull up a chart for that so I can show it to you. Okay. I don't want you to just take my word for it, right? I do want to actually show you that at least on Tesla, right? This that's the EMA when I need an SMA, I believe, right? Let me look at the monthly here. That's the exponential. All right, so that says the weekly 55. Some of these charts are just not going to be clean, right? Because I believe the simple 200. We've hit the simple 200 here. Here is the weekly 50. Okay, the weekly 50 is right there at 157. We just pierced under it. Now, I will tell you this. Okay, sorry, that's the monthly 50. So typically, right, we did pass under the monthly 50 here, but I actually don't believe that this is just going to stay like this. Sometimes you could have a penetration of that support level, right? I do anticipate next week for us to work our way back above here. I believe that this is more like a bear trap, okay? Typically, the first time you touch a significant level like this, like the weekly, let's say 200 or the weekly 50, you do get an auto bounce, like a robo bounce, right? Even last week, right, where we kind of came down, we didn't even touch the monthly 50 and we already got an auto bounce, right? So last Friday was triple witching. We know that during triple witching a bunch of craziness happened. The stock fell about 4%. I do anticipate, okay, that we'll actually get back up here. Now, just to let you know, we do have some open positions based on this chart pattern that I find to be very reliable, right? That once you hit this, some of these weekly extensions, you do get auto bounces, right? And so, yeah, we are looking for a bounce in Tesla before heading lower. I mean, overall, what do we see Tesla going? I mean, these green lines here are open gaps, so I do expect, right, Tesla eventually, right, to kind of complete this kind of head and shoulders pattern. You see the one shoulder, the big head, another shoulder there, and yeah, 100. Okay, even 73. We come on, team. We could give back the entire 2020 run, the entire 2018-19 run. We could give it all back in Tesla here. And team, especially with Tesla coming down to like possibly 130, 120, 110, 100, sub 100. These are going to be the areas that you really want to go and start adding some shares to Tesla, right? Yeah, don't look at this movement in Tesla as something that's like a negative or bad, right? I mean, a lot of what Tesla's going through really kickstarted with Elon Musk buying Twitter. To me, it does not at all change the value and the future value of Tesla here. So as these shares are coming down, I'm looking at it as a phenomenal buying opportunity. Tesla is an incredible company. Elon Musk, love him, hate him. He's an incredible CEO and leader and visionary, right? And so you really want to put your money with people who know what they're doing, who demand the best from the world, who demand the best from themselves, and who is trying to push the human condition forward, right? And so again, as Tesla comes down, hey, you guys better start opening your wallets, start adding some long-term shares of Tesla. This is what our recommendation is going to be. But yeah, okay, I do anticipate some kind of auto bounce here, 150 to possibly. Let me see here. I mean, I doubt we hit 200, right? But if I had some price targets on Tesla here for a bounce, 160, 175, 180, if that, once we get it right. But yeah, it doesn't look good from this perspective. But again, all right, as long as we can kind of work our way back above 158, I think Tesla has a chance for an auto bounce off of the monthly 50 here. Okay, that's what I see on Tesla. Now let me actually go back to the original chart that I had. All right, let us go to something good. Let's go to Meta, right? Now, here on this meta chart, right? It actually looks a lot better than its predecessors, right? If you notice, meta kind of based out here, and we have a bullish to choppy indicator set here, and I'm thinking that meta has found a base somewhere between 88 and 100, and I think if I'm not mistaken, this thing is probably trading at what, 4 or 5 times earnings, not even 10 times earnings here on meta, and I'm thinking meta here is a phenomenal value between 85 to 100. So my recommendation, okay, not financial advice, not a financial advisor anymore. I once was. I also, do have a master's in business with a concentration in finance. Just to let you know some of my credentials. Should do a video about that one time. But again, not financial advice. Do whatever you guys want. I'm going to be looking to add some long-term shares of Meta here. Okay. I think at these price point, this valuation, Meta is a phenomenal value. And I think some of the big guys are starting to see that as well. Okay, we do have a weekly buy setup here. Look at the monthly. Yeah, let me see. Oh, yeah. We got a monthly buy setup here on Meta, right? So we got a monthly buy setup here on Meta, right? So I think Meta here, again, this price point presents a phenomenal value, okay? Between 85 and $100, even 120, great value here on Meta. Okay, that's why I think we found this kind of floor here on Meta, right? Let's look at another chart that's not too bad. Netflix, yeah, you gotta buy the dip on Netflix here. Again, this thing's gotten beaten up. You see from the lows here from 162, we've bounced to 290, right? So it'll take a few months, right? But with this structure, right? What this chart tells me is that this thing's properly structured, right? We have the 8 over the 21, over the 34, over the 50, over the 200, right? So we are properly structured here on Netflix. And so, team, I'm going to say, yeah, buy the dip on Netflix here. Okay. I like Netflix. Goog, choppy to bearish. Goog, again, one of the two halves of the dragon that we talked about a few weeks ago. Doesn't look good. I mean, we could go down and test the lows here, but at some point, Google's going to find a floor. And again, it's going to present another great value. We have a daily squeeze fired short on Friday. And so we're looking for this to fall down. Again, I don't know if we're going to take out the lows here because I think this, I mean, look, it's kind of hard to say, right? Because I believe that the market could flush down another 20-30%, right? Maybe I want to say 50%, but the market could flush down pretty significantly here from here, team. Again, I look at things from a very long time frame, like the monthly time frame here, right? And then this monthly time frame says that we could kind of go back down to the gutter, right? Yeah, because when you see the monthly 200 sitting all the way down here, I mean, when you get a real crash, this monthly 200 gets taken out, right? And yeah, we could go down a lot more, right? But for me, right, if I'm looking at this thing as a long-term investor, I'm going to want to start adding some shares, Okay, do you, if you have $1,000, do you spend the whole $1,000 right there? No. Maybe buy 100 or 200, comes down some more, another 100. Some more, another 100. It gets down here to the monthly 200. Yeah, then maybe out of 1,000, maybe $250, $300. And that's what you want to do. You want to add a little bit as you go down, right? So I know this is a very, very different video than we normally put out. Okay, we are doing some analysis, but we're starting to see kind of some glimmers of hope, right? Like we're coming down to some valuations here where it actually makes sense, right, to start adding some monthly some long-term shares, right? So let me get rid of this. And again, Amazon, right? Again, look what Amazon is doing, right? If you want to know, why are we making these recommendations? Here it is. Look what Amazon's doing. Matter of fact, let's look back at Facebook, right? I know it's Meta, right? But look at what Meta did, right? We came under the monthly 200, right? That's why I said this is why, to me, it's found its value. So when you have a full-on crash, right, this is what the charts look like, right? So eventually, I'm thinking SPY is going to look like this. The Q is going to look like this. All the other names. That's why I think Meta is finding its footing first because we've already come down to such a ridiculous valuation where it actually makes sense. Okay? Meta here is a phenomenal value. Okay? Right here. Makes sense. Right? If you look at Netflix here, what happened? Monthly 200. There you go. There goes your bounce. Makes sense, team. Makes sense. Look at Amazon. It's coming. Right? Let it happen. Hey, this is like that one friend who had one too many drinks, and you're looking at them. They've got their bear goggles on, their eyes all glassy. Let it happen, okay? Don't mean to be too garish, right? But this guy looks like he wants to puke. Hey, go to the bathroom, man. Make sure you flush. Hey, Amazon comes down here to $64-$70. Team, you want to be out buying some shares of Amazon, right? It's Amazon right there. I think we already looked at Goog, right? But again, Goog has a way to go, right? Let's look at some other names. NVIDIA. NVIDIA didn't even come down to its monthly 200 yet, and we got a little bounce already, right? If you look at the daily here, the daily says buy the dip, right? Right. We've got the again. What this is telling you is that the EMAs are stacked positively, right? And then we're getting some momentum dots here. That's what these dots mean, right? So EMAs stacked positively, momentum dots. Hey, NVIDIA's looking pretty okay for a buy to dipperoonie on the daily time frame. Again, you can be bearish on the monthly, bearish on the weekly, bullish on the daily. You can even be bullish on the 5-minute or bullish on the hourly, right? So each time frame could be related to one another, but they don't have to exactly be the same, right? You guys are getting a lot of free game here. Hopefully you guys are taking down a pen or pencil. All right, so that's NVIDIA here. What's next? So we got Microsoft. How can I forget? Microsoft, all right? Bullish to choppy, right? So, these are some of the names, some of the stronger names here. Definitely Meta, definitely Microsoft, definitely Netflix. Netflix and NVIDIA are the two strongest, but, Microsoft and Meta, they're not looking too bad here. Not too bad. I would say that overall, Microsoft has consistently been one of the stronger names in the market here, right? Again, team, I know this looks like heck, but look what happened to Microsoft, right? We touched the weekly 50, and then we bounce, right? I'm sorry, it's just, maybe that makes it a little better. It's a weekly 50 right there, right? No, actually, weekly 200, excuse me. And, Microsoft has not given up the ghost. Again, another phenomenal company. I mean, Microsoft has found its way into, all our lives, right? But here's the monthly 50, right? I mean, here's the monthly setup, right? And so, for me, a full-on crash, we got to be somewhere down here. But, I don't know. Microsoft may be one of those names, right? Could it be a honey badger? Possibly. And the absolute strongest name in the stock market, Apple. I mean, the fact that Apple, if you look at this chart, right, it's I always feel like Apple could potentially be like a stone's throw away from its all-time highs. You remember in June to August, Apple was the reason why we just pumped it up. I mean, I think a whole bunch of hedge funds got caught short here and they got squeezed. Boy, this is this was a bear market rally and a half here. Okay. Apple literally got within $7-8 of its all-time high during a bear market, a certifiable bear market, right? Incredible. And if you look at this team, this looks like a phase 3 market phase, right? Let me just pull this chart back a little bit. I can't say that Apple's at the valuation where I will start adding long-term shares, but oof. I mean, with the weekly, not even hitting the weekly 200 there, and with the monthly, let's look at the monthly 200 here. Monthly 200 is all the way down here, right? So for me, this is one of those names that's really holding the market together, right? It's Apple, okay? As Apple goes, so does the market, right? Yeah, but so far, we're still very strong. Still very strong here on Apple, right? On a daily time frame, you can say it's actually now bearish, choppy, but I mean, we're going to find some support here. Let me, again, get a cleaner chart. I know you guys are probably vomiting at this point. Team, this is as clean as I can get it, right? Let me even take out some of these auto fib levels, right? Yeah. All right, so we've noticed here, right? Apple comes down to these levels, right? 130-ish, right? We bounce. 130-ish, bounce. 130-ish, bounce. 130-ish, you know. Again, once we come down to these lower channels, like 133, 130, we should get some kind of sympathy bounce. So this is what I see here on Apple. All right. Again, we're not quite at the level, right, where I feel, yeah, these are going to be the COVID lows, right? Back here. Yeah. Right. We still have some open gaps here. All right. And I think we could possibly come down some more, right? So kind of a mixed bag analysis. Okay. We have some strong names, some weak names. Right now, I really like some long-term shares on Meta for sure. Some long-term shares. Amazon is kind of coming in as well to want to get some long-term shares. Tesla as well, starting to come in for some long-term shares, right? And so, team, I think it's time to start opening your wallets, right? Again, you know, how do you do it? You buy a little bit at a time, right? Yeah, but again, team, there's nothing that says Tesla can't be $50. Okay, don't think Tesla cannot be $50, right? So again, we're at 150 here. You know, do you start, you know, betting your life savings right here on this dot? No, especially like this is a very bearish. This is they call this pattern with the 3 big candles like that. Well, this is not really solid, but to me, this looks like they call it 3 black soldiers. You could say this is 3 black soldiers here, right? It's not exactly a black soldier because we have the wick there, but team, it just doesn't look good, right? Off of these big candles, right? Again, 128, 100. Team, we can come all the way down here, okay? These are open gaps. I need to change the color of these candles. Let me just do that, right? So we have all of these COVID gaps that are still open, right? Team, the majority of gaps close. I do believe it, okay? Some people think it's pseudoscience, whatever. Think whatever you want. Okay, I think, my opinion, most gaps close. Okay. Here it is. Here's a chart, right? So here are the gaps that we got, right? If you want a simple chart to look at, this is never a simple chart, but look at all the gaps here on the Qs. Look at all the gaps here on SPY, right? Look at some of these gaps on Apple, okay? All right, so we could come down a little bit more. Okay, a little bit of a longer video, but I think this is a long one, but it's a goodie. Charles Becco, Brooklyn Traders. We up out of here. Happy holidays, y'all.
Hey, thanks for watching. Please be sure to like, share, and follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you enjoy this content, please check out our website at www.brooklyntraders.net. That is www.brooklyntraders.net. Thanks, and God bless.